A notification lit up my ceiling at 12:47 a.m., sharp and sudden, like someone flicked on a flashlight just to make sure I was awake. I almost rolled over and ignored it. I really wish I had. My name is Ryan Delgado, and this happened in Tucson, Arizona. I lay there for a full minute after the notification, telling myself it was just another spam follow or some late meme tag. But the glow from my phone kept cutting across the room like it wanted attention, like it knew I was still awake behind my eyelids. Finally, I grabbed it, thumb heavy, and opened the app. It wasn't a DM. It wasn't even on my page. It was a public post from an account I didn't recognize, already sitting at the top of a trending thread. The username looked auto-generated, just a spill of numbers and letters, but the caption made my mouth go dry. Ryan doesn't like when people talk about the hallway outside his bedroom. I stopped breathing. The hallway wasn't special, just beige carpet and a crooked smoke detector, but I had always hated it at night. Ever since I was little, I'd imagined something standing where the light from my door faded, something that stayed still until I blinked. I never told people that because it sounded stupid, childish. Yet there it was, written for strangers to read. I scrolled, heart starting to pound. More lines appeared beneath it, like someone typing live. He still checks it before sleeping. He thinks if he catches it moving, he'll survive. My reflection hovered over the screen, pale, confused, almost floating. I whispered, "What the hell?" to my empty room, already feeling the walls press closer. I tapped the profile, expecting a prank from a friend, maybe a burner account, but it had no followers, no history, nothing but that single thread updating in real time. A new sentence popped in before my eyes. He said that out loud. A cold rush slipped through me, starting in my scalp and draining straight down my spine. I looked toward my bedroom door without meaning to, like the post had hands and physically turned my head. The crack beneath it showed only darkness, no shadow passing, no movement, but my pulse began to throb in my throat anyway. Another line surfaced. "If he opens the door, I'll step back so he thinks he imagined me again." My stomach twisted hard enough to hurt. Imagined me again. Not imagined it, imagined me. Whoever was behind this wasn't guessing. They were narrating something intimate, something stitched into my nerves since childhood, the shape of fear I carried without ever giving it a face. My thumb hovered over the comment box, wanting to demand answers, wanting proof this was a joke. But before I could type, the post shifted upward as if making space. "Watch," it read. And then, from the other side of my bedroom door, I heard the floorboards in the hallway give a slow, careful creak, like weight settling onto them for the very first time tonight. I didn't move toward the door. I moved backward until the edge of my mattress hit behind my knees, and I sat down without meaning to, phone trembling in my hand. The post refreshed again, but it wasn't just one account anymore. New usernames stacked underneath like vultures landing on a wire. "Here's you, step back now, don't machine." Their comments arrived faster than I could read them. It shifted its weight. "He's smaller than I expected. Why do they always freeze like that?" I felt my jaw hanging open, breath coming shallow and loud, scared they might write about that too. My apartment was silent except for the soft electric hum of the air vent. Yet every person in that thread talked like they were crowded just outside my room, shoulder to shoulder, peering in through walls. A reply climbed to the top, pinned by someone I'd never seen. "Ryan, we voted. Open it." Voted. Like this was entertainment, like I was already part of something scheduled. My finger slipped on the screen, and the image zoomed into a video I hadn't noticed before. Grainy, dark. A live view of my hallway from near the ceiling, pointed straight at my door. I could see the thin line of light underneath it. I could see the knob. And standing in front of it, barely outlined, was a shape that bent too high to be anyone I knew. The comments surged the second I noticed it, as if awareness was the cue they'd been waiting for. "He sees you. Don't wave yet. Let him beg." My heart kicked so violently I thought I might black out, but something worse happened instead. My phone vibrated with incoming calls, dozens at once, everyone from blocked numbers. I declined them, but voicemails began landing instantly, stacking over each other, auto-playing in broken overlaps. Different voices, different ages, whispering the same thing with breathy excitement. "We can all see it. You left it room. It likes doorways." I threw the phone onto the bed, but the speakers kept spilling sound, and beneath the whispers, I started to hear another noise threading through them, faint but real, coming from the hall itself. A wet scrape, slow, careful, like skin dragging across paint. On the video feed, the figure leaned closer to my door, joints shifting wrong, head twitching in tiny bird-like jerks. Then the pinned comment updated one last time, and the thread went completely still, like an audience holding its breath before a curtain rises. Now it wants him to invite it in. The silence after that comment felt organized, like thousands of strangers had rehearsed, going quiet at the same time. Even the voicemails stopped cutting over each other, dropping away until my bedroom held a heavy, padded stillness. I stared at the door, throat burning, trying not to make a sound that could count as permission. I didn't believe in rules like that, not really, but fear doesn't care what you believe. It makes its own logic, and then dares you to test it. My phone screen lit up again without vibrating. The video had zoomed closer, tighter on the gap beneath my door, where the hallway carpet met the wood. Something darker than shadow seeped across it, blotting out the thin line of light. The watchers returned in text, but slower now, reverent. "It's listening. He won't say it. They never do the first time." My mouth tasted sour. First time. Like there would be another chance to get this right. I forced air into my lungs and managed a whisper that barely existed. "Go away!" The thread reacted instantly, messages colliding in panic. "Wrong. Too late. Move." I didn't understand what they meant until the doorknob began to turn from the other side. Not fast, not violent, just a gentle testing twist, like someone trying not to wake a child. I stumbled off the bed and back toward my window, pulse sprinting, legs weak and unsteady. The knob kept moving, metal brushing metal with a dry, polite sound. And then it stopped. Relief fluttered through me for half a second before I realized the video feed hadn't. The camera angle shifted away from the hallway and swung inward, impossibly, as if it had passed through the wood without resistance. Now it showed my room, my bed, the phone I had dropped, and me, retreating step by step, eyes huge, looking less like a person than prey. The figure wasn't at the door anymore. It was in the frame behind me, unfolded to its full height, skin stretched tight over long, wrong bones, face slack and shining like it had just crawled out of something wet. I felt nothing at my back, yet it stood close enough that its breath stirred my hair on the screen. The comments filled with hearts, applause, requests. "Turn him around. Let him see." I shook my head, whispering no, over and over, but the floor answered for me. A board dipped behind my heel with a soft, betraying pop, and warmth touched the base of my neck, damp and intimate, as if a mouth had opened there. On the live chat, a final message rose above the rest. He finally brought it home. The words "he finally brought it home" kept multiplying across my screen, shared, reposted, clipped into highlight reels with excited captions, like I had achieved something instead of doomed myself. I ran. I don't remember grabbing my keys or shoes. I just remember the hallway outside my apartment yawning longer than it ever had, lights flickering in uneven pulses while my phone screamed with notifications I couldn't silence. Every platform I'd ever used was live. My face, dragged from the camera's angle inside my room, had been cut out and pasted into thumbnails, reaction boxes, countdown banners. Strangers were rating how scared I looked. A poll hovered at the top of one stream. How far will it follow? I hit the stairwell, nearly falling, and the sound that chased me wasn't footsteps, but a steady, patient sliding, like meat being pulled across tile. When I burst through the lobby doors into the parking lot, I thought air and distance might break whatever connection had formed, but floodlights snapped on overhead at the same time my phone auto-opened to another broadcast. This one wasn't from above or behind. It faced me from somewhere out in the dark, zoomed, focused, as if a cameraman stood beyond the reach of the lamps. Comments rushed upward. Keep him centered. Don't lose him. This is the good part. And then I saw that I wasn't alone out there. People were parked along the curb, windows down, phones raised, filming me like I was already famous. At first I thought they were normal bystanders pulled in by the chaos, but none of them spoke to me. None asked if I was okay. They watched through their screens with identical, hungry concentration, faces washed pale by blue light. Some were smiling. My phone chimed, and their phones chimed back in reply, perfect echoes, as if everything belonged to the same system. The live stream stitched their angles together until I could see myself from everywhere at once. Above the lot, near the dumpsters, reflected in windshields, a trapped animal mapped from every direction. The sliding noise reached the edge of the light behind me, and the crowd leaned forward in unison, breath-catching, delighted. I tried to run toward them, to force someone to drop the act and help me, but they retreated carefully, maintaining distance, keeping me framed. A woman near the front whispered, not to me, but to her viewers. Wait for it to stand up. Stand up from what? I didn't want to know, yet my body turned anyway, dragged by the gravity of their expectation. In the merged feed, I saw it rising from the asphalt, peeling itself taller, threads of dark wetness stretching and snapping as it unfolded. The chat exploded into celebration, and above the roar of notifications, one new banner locked into place at the top of every stream. Final episode starting. When the banner switched to final episode starting, the cheering in the chat turned frantic, almost worshipful, like a crowd afraid the miracle might cancel itself. The thing that had unpeeled from the asphalt kept rising, taller than a person, taller than the light poles, strands of black shine stretching between its limbs before snapping loose and slapping onto the pavement. The watchers backed up, but never lowered their phones. I understood then that they weren't witnesses. They were subscribers, investors. They needed a return. My phone forced another window open, picture in picture, my face blown huge beside the creature, a comparison shot. A counter spun beneath it, engagement spiking. I tried to throw the device away, but my hands wouldn't obey. My fingers had locked around it, bones aching, like the muscles belonged to the broadcast now. The creature tilted what might have been its head, and even from yards away, I could see details that made my stomach fold. Skin puckered with old impressions, like it had worn many shapes before settling on this one. The comments weren't scared anymore. They were guiding it. Take the jaw first. He won't need to scream if you open him right. Someone near the cars laughed softly, the sound of a person at a movie they've already seen twice. I wanted to beg them, but the live stream beat me to it. My own voice erupted from every parked vehicle at once, speakers synced, louder than I could ever shout. "Please don't let it in," it cried, over and over, a recording I had never made. Hearing it stolen like that cracked something inside me. The creature reacted instantly, jerking toward the sound, confused, curious, and I realized the show wasn't about my fear anymore. It was about access. If it could use my voice, wear my outline, borrow my panic, then it didn't need me standing here. The realization rippled through the viewers too. Messages shifted tone, urgent now, possessive. Hurry, before he goes empty. The asphalt beneath my feet softened, turning warm and sticky, pulling at my shoes, and a sickness crawled up my legs, draining strength the way blood leaves a wound. On my screen, my image began to lag, movements repeating a half second after I made them, like a bad connection trying to predict me. The creature's body shuddered, shrinking, compressing, refining, becoming closer, familiar. My face in the broadcast smiled a fraction before I did, eyes bright, relieved, already free of terror. A final notification slid across the top, approved by millions in real time. Transfer complete. The version of me in the stream stepped forward to greet the cameras, while I felt myself thinning, flattening, tugged toward the glass, desperate to warn them it would learn their fears next. But the viewers were busy following the new Ryan, loving him, sharing him, making him bigger, and none of them noticed the old one fading quietly into the dark where the comments go when the show is done. Even now, weeks later, I can't tell if I survived or if I'm already part of it. My phone sometimes plays my own voice when it's locked, whispering sentences I haven't said, and strangers online send screenshots of live streams I never started, showing me smiling and talking, comforting them, promising to listen to their fears. I know it isn't me on those screens, yet sometimes I catch myself practicing that smile in the mirror, rehearsing the calm tone, wondering if the real me is just fading, already replaced, already learned, while the world thinks I'm perfectly safe. And maybe that's worse than being gone.